Imagine this. You're trying to book a Tatkal train ticket, or maybe you're just at a local cafe. You scan the QR code, punch in your UPI PIN, the screen is loading, and boom, payment failed. पैसा बैंक अकाउंट से कट गया पर मर्चेंट को मिला ही नहीं. दिमाग खराब होता है ना? That split second of absolute panic is exactly why the tech world invests billions into one incredibly crucial field. आज के सेशन में we're going to explore the invisible shield that protects us from these everyday digital disasters.
So let's get right into it. आज हम decode कर रहे हैं the complete BCA 204T Unit 1 syllabus on software testing. But listen, हम सिर्फ boring textbook definitions नहीं पढ़ने वाले. My goal today is to break this entire unit down using real-life app examples, ताकि सारे concepts आपके दिमाग में permanently छाप जाएं.
We are tackling your exact official syllabus today. From introduction, error, fault, and failure, straight through to SDLC, verification versus validation, static and dynamic testing, we've got it all. Trust me, we are covering every single topic systematically. तो बस अपना focus बनाए रखो and let's get you 100% exam ready.
Here is your roadmap for today. We have 6 core areas to conquer. First, software testing क्या है? Second, error, fault, and failure. Third, the testing lifecycle. Fourth, verification versus validation. Fifth, static and dynamic testing. And finally, the limitations of software testing. Let's begin.
Section 1. Software testing क्या है? What exactly is it and why is it so hard?
You might be thinking, भाई ऐप बना लिया, just use करके देख लो चल रहा है या नहीं. But it is highly complex. Think of a food delivery app like Zomato. The ultimate goal isn't just to check if the app opens. The goal is to catch bugs way before the user tries to order their midnight biryani and the app suddenly crashes. The core principles are actually pretty simple. Test early, test often, and always remember that testing is context dependent. A food app needs entirely different testing than, say, a banking software.
Section 2. Error, fault, and failure. It's time to learn the official vocabulary of bugs.
In our everyday language, whether an app is slow or completely crashes, हम सबको बस bug बोल देते हैं. But for your exams, you absolutely need to know the academic terms. First up is error. एक error fundamentally एक human mistake होती है. Just imagine a developer coding late at night. नींद में एक payment gateway का कोड लिखते वक्त उसने माइनस की जगह प्लस टाइप कर दिया. That logical, human mistake, that is an error.
Now us human error की वजह से we get a fault. A fault is the direct manifestation of that mistake. It's the bad code itself now hiding silently inside the app system. Think of it exactly like a ticking time bomb. The app is going to look perfectly fine from the outside, but internally, that incorrect plus sign is just sitting there in the database logic waiting to be triggered.
And that brings us to failure. ये उस ticking time bomb का actual explosion है. Failure is that catastrophic moment जब user actual में pay button click करता है और app crash हो जाता है या फिर गलत amount deduct कर लेता है. So keep this in mind. Error is the human typo. Fault is the hidden bad code. Failure is the app actually crashing. ये एक guaranteed exam question है, so lock this in your memory.
Now, when a failure does happen, we report it. That formal report is called an incident. And to study these incidents, developers categorize them into taxonomies, which is basically deciding if it's a UI issue, a security flaw, or a database error. But how do we stop them from happening in the first place? By writing test cases. A test case is a specific scenario we create to try and trigger those faults before the software ever goes live. It's built like mock drill ki tarah, designed specifically to catch that bad code.
Moving on to Section 3, the testing life cycle, specifically SDLC and the V testing life cycle.
Professional teams don't just randomly tap buttons to see what breaks. They follow a highly structured process called the SDLC. Think about planning exactly how to test a massive e-commerce app right before a huge Diwali sale. First, there's requirement analysis, समझना कि test क्या करना है. Then, test planning, sorting out your budget and team. Next, test cases, writing the exact step-by-step actions to check that add to cart button. Then, execution, actually running those tests. And finally, closure. The V model is super similar. It just maps every single development phase directly to a corresponding testing phase.
Section 4. Verification versus validation. 2 absolutely crucial questions you need to ask.
Now, I know these sound like the exact same thing, but they ask 2 very different questions. Verification asks, क्या हम कोड सही लिख रहे हैं? Like, are we following the technical design? Are we building the product right? Validation, on the other hand, asks, क्या हम वही फीचर बना रहे हैं जो यूजर को चाहिए था? You might write perfect, beautifully bug-free code which satisfies verification, but if the user actually wanted something completely different, your product fails. And that is validation.
Section 5. Static and dynamic testing, the two main approaches to actually finding bugs.
So how do we actually track down these bugs? Well, dynamic testing is probably what you normally imagine. App actual make code run karte ho, app use karte ho, and see if anything breaks. Static testing, however, is finding bugs without ever running the code. You simply read and analyze the source code itself. As our syllabus points out, this includes an inspection by a moderator, a walkthrough by the original author, and a technical review by your peers.
Finally, we reach Section 6, Limitations of Software Testing. Let's talk about why 100% bug-free software is completely a myth.
This is a hard truth that every BCA student has to accept. Read this carefully. Testing shows the presence of defects, not their absence. Testing ये ज़रूर prove कर सकता है कि सॉफ्टवेयर में bugs हैं. आपने find किया, fix किया, great. But testing can absolutely never prove that a piece of software has zero bugs. एक टेस्ट पास होने का मतलब ये नहीं कि कोड के अंदर कोई deep, obscure fault छुपा नहीं है.
So the crucial takeaway here is, no software is 100% bug-free, period. Even the biggest tech giants in the world, we're talking Google, Apple, Microsoft, they regularly have to release updates and bug patches. We rely incredibly heavily on imperfect, thoroughly tested but never truly perfect systems every single day. Testing drastically reduces the risk of a massive failure, but it can literally never eliminate it completely.
And that wraps up our breakdown of BCA 204T Unit 1. But before we go, I want to leave you with one quick question. The next time you order food or book a cab and that app suddenly crashes right in your hands, will you just call it a bug? Or will you now know whether to call it an error, a fault, or a failure? Think about it. Keep observing the tech around you, keep learning, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.